Vroom!
Zoom!
Hello, and welcome back to our channel. It's just two girls who are constantly on the verge of just giving up on everything, and we're getting ready to quit our jobs and just travel around the world for the whole next year.
No, Maddie, this is an F1 podcast. Although none of that's untrue. Hello, welcome to 17 to 1. My name's Julia. I know a lot about F1.
My name is Maddie, and I know varying incremental amounts of F1.
She's learning more all the time. Welcome to our post-race series, Champions and Crashouts, wherein we evaluate who had a good race weekend and who perhaps did not, both metaphorically and literally.
And buckle up because this one is a doozy. We got more crashouts than we do champions. At this point, I'm like, smack my horse on the butt and say, giddy up, let's go.
You know, it was a better race than Suzuka.
It was even more exciting than Bahrain, and Bahrain was already pretty exciting.
This is very, very true. So to start with our champions, I would say that our number one champion of the weekend was obviously our winner, Oscar Piastri, who had he had a great launch off the start. He had a great start to the race. We're both Max Verstappen fans, but we are also both Oscar Piastri. At least I'm an Oscar Piastri fan. I don't actually know how you feel about him.
I've told you, he's a great guy, great dude, looks like a K-pop boy, but white.
So he has Maddie's stamp of approval, in other words.
If you ever see me at an F1 race and I'm passing out like Oscar Piastri photo cards, come hit me up.
You'll make
It's
his
cool.
sister quite happy.
That's the dream.
So it was a great start from Oscar, and then he did a great job of recovering that position. It was great strategy by the team. He had the race in the bag, and now he is our championship leader. First Aussie since I think it was 2010 to lead the championship.
How exciting. And like I said last video, skew me on a stick and call me a stick of butter.
But why?
I don't know. Just kind of sounds like something someone might say.
Fair enough. Do you want to tell me who your number one champion of the weekend was?
It's always going to be Zhou Guanyu, even if he's not racing. He took the cutest pictures. So Zhou Guanyu.
He did indeed.
Got a perfect picture of Charles Leclerc looking confused, like, aren't you the reserve driver? Loved it.
A man of many talents.
A man after my heart. If we're talking about actual racetrack, vroom vroom, I would definitely have to say Charles Leclerc, which is perfect because he's been sad lately. And there was a rumor going around that he cheated on his girlfriend. So, like, he really came back and was like, creating war crimes, proving to you I'm not cheating on my girlfriend, and whoop whoop. Thanks, Brian.
I love the gentle encouragement happening on the Ferrari radio. Charles, the man, the myth, the icon that you are. Absolutely adore you. First podium of the year. Hopefully one of many, many more to come. What would be ideal is if he could go, he was in 3 this week, 2 next week, and then 1. I would say another champion of the weekend were our 2 boys over at Williams because double points. And Carlos really doing the most, his signature move, keeping Alex in his DRS so that he could then also fend off Isaac Hadjar. Love you, Isaac Boo. So glad you also got points this weekend. But that was brilliant, brilliant tactics to see by the Williams team. Amazing to see their strategy going well for them, to be honest with you. Great driving by both Alex and Carlos. No notes.
Unfortunately, that does wrap up our champions because, woo doggy, there was a lot of crash outs. I think to get into it, the first physical crash out were the 2 boyfriends, Pierre and Yuki. Unfortunately, not that I'd want to see Pierre out, but his car looked a lot more wrecked. I was hoping that Yuki would be able to get back into the game, but unfortunately, I just guess they couldn't do it.
He made it all the way back to the garage under his own steam, but unfortunately they did have to turn the car off, and I was deeply disappointed. I was really, really hoping to see something out of Yuki this weekend, but here's hoping they come back stronger next weekend. Him and Pierre both. So
A fantasy league note, it helped secure me second place and 1 point above Julia.
yeah, Yuki really cost me a lot there, but it's okay. I still love him. So those were our two physical crash outs. The rest of our crash outs are more metaphorical, but internally, I'm going to assume they were crashing out because people are crashing out over them.
Oh my god. Are they ever? I think the biggest one that you all know about is Max Verstappen. And my take on this is I genuinely don't believe he was fully crashing out until after the race and the president of the FIA came and talked to him. Rightfully so, I think he was upset about the 5 second penalty and he has his right to his own feelings. But I think that's something he would have gotten over with and at the end of the day recognized as like that's a race choice that was made. But the FIA got to go be a big bully and be like, you say something. What's your take on that, Julia?
Pretty much the same. It's actually insane the way that like his entire body language changes when you look at the footage of Mohammed bin Salem, the president of the FIA, talking to him. And he just kind of like shuts down. He's visibly very angry. Prior to that, he was like talking to Charles. He even gives Zach Brown like a little handshake. I would not touch Zach Brown with a 10-foot pole, but he did. And it just all changes after that. And then even afterwards, like after the podium and then all the post race stuff, he's only refusing to answer questions about the penalty. And it's not like he's saying, I'm not going to answer it because I'm mad about it. He's saying he won't answer it because he'll get a fine about it, which is very telling. And then he only has like the nicest things ever to say about Oscar. He's like, yeah, he very rarely makes mistakes in a race. He does a great job. He's been putting in all the effort where he needs to put it in, etc. So there's definitely no hard feelings between him and Oscar. And again, this is a thing that he usually would get over with pretty quickly and move on. And he'll be fine. I'm sure he's actually already fine. I'm sure he's sipping his gin and tonics. His baby is due any day now. He's living.
Is his baby really due any day now?
I think so. I feel like it's the end of April, beginning of May. If the rumors are true, okay? I don't hang out that much on that side of TikTok, so I don't know for certain.
Off the topic of Max and switching to Lando Norris. His race went a lot better, but unfortunately, he ends up on the crash out list because his qualifying, he crashed into the wall and landed himself down at P10. And poor little Lando Norris had a hard time, which understandably so. It hurts. Um, I hopefully he'll be able to like bounce back and gain his confidence back.
Yeah, he seemed even, during the race, he was fine. I don't think his confidence took that large of a blow, but it is a tricky circuit. It's real narrow, low margins for error. He was trying to get every single inch of speed that he could out of that place, and unfortunately, it bit him in the ass.
Don't you just hate when things bite you in the ass?
Truly the worst.
Seeing Max and seeing Oscar like ask if he was okay and then over the radio and then like Max checking in on Lando. I thought that was very sweet, a great showman of sportsmanship as well as Lando and Max friendship does exist. Ha!
Take that. Which brings us to our permanent crash out. Our favorite resident of the crash out list, Mr. Liam Lawson. Now, Liam started off really good. He qualified great. I believe he outqualified Isaac for the first time. So, off to a good start. Unfortunately, he did get slapped with that 10-second time penalty during the race, and he was not able to finish in the points. Isaac was. So, I think for Liam, he really, really, really needs to outperform his teammate at least once in order to prove that he deserves to be on that team. And it's just been so, so, so tough for him.
I was watching the qualifying. He did like well compared to how he has been in the past. Watching the race as it was going, and I was just like, maybe he won't be on the crash out list. Like he's got this. I spoke too soon. I saw that 10-second penalty, and I was like, oop.
Another crash out, Lewis Hamilton. Because tell me why he's struggling so hard with his Ferrari. He gets out qualified by the man he replaced in a Williams. He does not do very good during the race. He says himself that he's having such a hard time to get the car together. And he said it's going to be like this for the rest of the season. And he said something about like he's going to need like a lobotomy in order to understand how to drive that car.
Well, that's
Or like brain surgery or something like that. I forget his exact wording, but insane work. I feel like that needs to go in a book alongside Lando Norris saying that he feels like he's never driven an F1 car before as like the most down in the dumps, absolutely hopeless things a driver has ever said about their car.
I feel like that just goes to show you though how comfortable he had gotten at Mercedes because he had been there for so long. But you would think that cars across, at least I would as an F1 newbie, that the cars are relatively across the board kind of built the same, but this is just showing me like they are not.
No, he's never driven with this kind of engine. You know, it's a Ferrari engine, not a
Oh,
Mercedes
that's
engine. It's probably set up entirely differently. Although I do think they took, his feedback into account, but only so much. And I mean, it's Ferrari. They've got issues.
I got issues, and you got them too. I think that's the song.
So bad weekend for Lewis Hamilton. We'll see if he springs back, but he is back on the crash out list. Haven't seen him since China
Why did we put him on the crash out list in China?
because he was disqualified.
That's right, baby. Ooh.
Sorry, Lewis.
It's all right, Lewis. And Lawson, I am permanently on the crash out list. Physically and metaphorically, so it's rough.
All right, that concludes our champions and crash outs. Please let us know who you thought was a champion and who you thought was a crash out of the weekend down below. This has been 17 to 1.
Bye.
Bye.